Welcome to Plus Life. The number of challenges she faced, she never gave up on life. In fact, A. Ruth Proctor has gone on to become a successful writer and created her own much-needed non-profit organisation. Best-selling author A. Ruth Proctor has a story to tell. As a young girl growing up near Raleigh, North Carolina, her childhood was filled with fear and uncertainty.
At 6 years old, I was placed into foster care. My mom was put into a mental institution. She was diagnosed with schizophrenia and bipolar. At that time, we were placed in temporary foster care with one family. We were there for 3 weeks. And then after that, we were placed into another home with about 10 children. And we were there for a little while.
Being pulled away from her mum and not having a place to call home left a deep emotional scar.
At that age, I felt a sense of abandonment. I just felt alone. I didn't know where I was going to be. So that was very challenging for me.
After a series of foster homes, Ruth eventually ended up in the foster care of her cousin.
At 11 years old, Mama B and Debbie G adopted me and my brother. And 3 years later, my sister was born and she adopted her as well. I still had that yearning for my parents. So I was able to see my dad and my mom at times, but never really able to live with them.
Her cousins encouraged Ruth to get involved with youth activities.
Her and her husband enrolled us into a lot of different programs. She was heavily into the church. So I had that support when it came to my faith. It was my foundation.
In high school, Ruth discovered her financial independence.
I worked 3 jobs. I worked at a painting office. I worked at Winn-Dixie, and I also worked at my dad's restaurant. Working and making money was very important for me.
In 2001, Ruth graduated from high school and enrolled herself in North Carolina Central University in Durham.
I'm the first generation of my family to go to college. So that was very important for me.
At first, Ruth had her sights set on political science. But while attaining her degree, she felt an emotional shift.
Childhood trauma affects us as adults more than we know. I ended up working at a company doing mentorship. And so I started working with at-risk youth, children with mental health diagnosis. And at that point, I said, this is a great field for me.
Ruth started a non-profit called Building Foundations Together.
We began to do food drives for Thanksgiving as well as for Christmas, and passing out turkeys and assortments of condiments for the holidays. And we started doing a book bag drive for the community. So every year we just got bigger and bigger.
But she never forgot about her experience in the foster care system.
And I just began to feel an urge to give back. And so I started a piece when it came to the foster care program. So now we're donating book bags and supplies to the foster care program as well as sports equipment for any child in the Franklin County foster care program, which is where I actually came from.
Ruth began to think about her purpose when she opened up and shared her story.